Welcome back to another episode of Have You Heard, the social media podcast brought to you by the Social Shepherds. Today, I am joined by Kaid. Say hello, Kaid.
Hi.
And Alex.
Hiya.
So Kaid's one of our creatives and Alex is in our social media team as social media manager. So we've got some exciting updates for you guys this week. More on AI as we do it every week, because that seems to be the general theme of what happens with these social media platforms, as well as what's going on in the Olympics and how that relates to social. And then towards the end, we're going to talk about Grace Beverly's new AI talent agency, which I feel like could be quite a big of a beast of the conversation. There's lots to talk about through there, especially Kaid.
I might have a few things to say. I don't know. Just a couple of things. Just a couple of opinions and thoughts.
So first of all, we've got the Meta AI Studio characters. So Meta has been working on its AI Studio, which lets users create their own AI characters and creators. This, at the moment, is only available in the US, but inevitably, if that works in the US, they'll probably roll it out from there. What is happening with these AI creators? So I'll give you a bit of an overview, and then I'm going to put it over to Alex and some questions that I've got for her on this one. So users can either create their own character from scratch or use Meta's prompt ideas. Users then can ask the AI character questions within Instagram DMs, Messenger, and WhatsApp. So what is going to happen with this AI characters there, you can select the content that the AI is trained on. So for example, you could say, I want the AI to train on every one of my reels that I put out there and feed posts. Or maybe you want to deselect some feed posts and say, actually, just use stories and reels to sort of train on. Another factor of this is the community management side. It's going to learn the tone of voice of that creator or brand and then be able to respond to comments, which is one I want to come to you on, Alex. This can be linked on your Instagram profile, and they can either be private or personal. So you can have it just for yourself and ask it questions like, give me a recipe for this particular part. There's some parts of it that's like generative AI, so you can go design my dream living room and stuff like that. But then you could have it as, open to the public, or you can select it only people that follow you or to everyone, or however you want to see it, whether it's close friends, etc. So I guess over to you, Alex, on the community management side to begin with. I know we spoke about this just off camera beforehand, but how do you feel like this taking over comments for one of your clients? What do you think like the maybe risks are, or maybe some of the positives that could be?
Well, I feel like with certain clients that don't have a more risky tone of voice, this could really reduce our kind of like time output. It could be really helpful, really good resource for us. However, we have I've got a foodie client that I work on at the moment, as we know, that has their tone of voice changes depending on which platform we're using. So for TikTok, we can be a bit more playful, and for Meta and for Facebook and Instagram, this is also different. It changes slightly. So I don't know how this bot will be able to adapt depending on different platforms. I think that will definitely be a bit of a like test and learn phase. I also probably wouldn't want to be the first people using this bot because it's going to take time to learn. And we wouldn't want that coming back on us and our clients either if anything happens and we're not monitoring it. So as much as I think it would be really good for clients that have a more like formal tone of voice, that's also something to think about, that we would have to be monitoring it once those comments go out to double check that nothing is being said. The robots aren't rising against us.
The robot aren't rising.
They're not sabotaging our clients. They're also not changing that tone of voice either. There's going to be a lot of training that comes with it. So, in the long run, it could reduce our kind of time output. In the short term, we're going to be putting a lot more time into monitoring it and making sure that it's actually working correctly.
Yeah, I literally just wrote that down there. It's a note to raise. Are we going to, we obviously have dedicated time and reactive time on the community management side, which great. This is going to cover us 24/7 now. But actually, like you said, will it take us longer initially actually just monitoring the output of those comments that's going and having that like paranoia that it's going to say something wrong?
Could you
and
imagine
then
just like talks absolute like shape behind your back?
I know. But also, I think a massive part of community management is that it's supposed to be personal, and you're supposed to be building. Thank you. Hyde pointed at me.
It was in my head. It was what I wanted to say.
It's supposed to be personal. It's supposed to be building a relationship with your consumers, your audience. So why then put a robot in front of that to completely take that element away? You know, you want to know that a brand has actually seen your comment, is reacting with it. You never know if a creator is going to be commenting on it, and they could be a potential influencer to work with. It's just, it takes away that element of humanizing things. So I don't think they're going to be taking my job just yet.
Yeah, I do feel like that's the main thing. I think as anyone that like uses social media, I do think that like when you comment on videos you like, or when like I remember I posted a Little Mermaid video and the Disney people commented on it, and I was like, oh, that's really big for me because I love that. If that would have been just an AI bot, I would have been like, oh, actually, they don't know who I am. They don't know who I am as a person, so it doesn't actually feel that special. So I wonder if like when brands start using it, are they going to be really like open about being like, oh yeah, all our community management is done AI, or is it going to be something that they just don't mention at all?
Yes, because even on Instagram, you have to toggle if you've used AI to create your post or your story. So if you're now using that for community management, surely Meta would have to use a little toggle to say this was
disclaimer, basically.
made with AI.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then on to the Olympics from there. So we've got some insights from X and what's going on there, as well as some Snapchat Olympics filters that have been going on. So starting on Snapchat, they've been going pretty wild with their AR experiences, filters, lenses, highlights, everything that they've been doing, obviously getting loads of creators and influencers a part of that and running their own shows within Snapchat. But more importantly, I guess the thing that I've noticed is some of the AR experiences, filters, etc. One of them that I particularly liked was, obviously it's the 100-year anniversary since the last time Olympics was in Paris before, in 1924. And actually one of them could transport you back to what the stadium looked like in 1924. But there's loads going on with Snapchat, partnerships with different brands and everything like that. I guess moving on to X, obviously we know X is sort of the platform where you have those reactive moments, trending conversations that happen in real time. And I think X really, you know, holds that as a part of especially sport, but then I guess bigger events like this, such as the Olympics, it really captivates that audience there. Some stats that have come out so far is they've had an increase of 25% of posts about the Olympics on the day of the opening versus Tokyo 2020. On the weekend of the opening, it had 17 billion impressions, with some of the most mentioned hashtags being hashtag Paris 2024 Olympics opening ceremony. Then there's been 2 billion video views on X itself. And then they've got a list of the most mentioned athletes. And then 49 million posts in total, happening just on that weekend. And then looking at the most mentioned sports were judo, skateboarding, basketball, gymnastics, and volleyball so far then.
I do think the stats for the opening ceremony, I mean, this is where, you know, no press is bad press kind of comes in, because I've just seen a lot of negative feedback from that opening ceremony. And so that could potentially be why that has increased so much. But all engagement's engagement, we'll take it.
Yeah, I guess because it's not just like, it's how the Olympics affects like the rest of the world as well. They're not specifically just talking about the Olympics. I guess they're basing the impressions on any time the Olympics was mentioned in conversation, but the conversations that sometimes it was mentioned in weren't actually about the Olympics, but were about other world issues. And the Olympics have just come in and been like, claim.
They took it over. And then in line with this as well, they've actually, X or Twitter, however we want to reference them still, is Trend Genius. It's their new sort of ad campaign builder or type that they've instructed within the ad platform. And whilst this, you know, while this tags along to the Olympics is all about, Trend Genius effectively turns the ad on or off based on the conversation velocity. So if there's something going on like the Olympics, and between the certain hours of, let's say, across a 24-hour period, they've obviously got peak moments throughout that, whether it might be a gold medal or some moment that sort of captivated the audience, it effectively speeds up the ad spend that you have to capture and deliver your ad at that moment, rather than spreading it equally throughout the day. It can capture those moments. But I guess one of the things that I saw about this was that the fact with Twitter is that there's obviously a lot of sarcasm on the platform, and people say stuff that they're just saying as a joke.
Yeah.
But at the moment, obviously Grok on X and X itself picks up on these, and is it going to deliver ads at moments where people are actually being sarcastic? And everyone knows that they're being sarcastic.
That's great.
And then delivers the ad as the next post, and then there's not much brand safety because it might be actually a negative post, and then after your ad comes up, but it's been delivered because of the velocity of conversation.
In my head, that's quite bold. That's quite good advertising. Like someone's like, why was the first thing that I came into my head? Thongs. And I know we can't use that, but that was the first word that came into my head. Someone being like, I hate this. And they're like, here's an ad for this.
Yeah, I think
quite
it's
great advertising if you ask me.
Yeah, I think that would encourage me to engage with it more, because I'd find it quite funny that clearly the creator has, or the person, the keyboard warrior, has said something negative, and then they've actually got a really positive ad by it. That would encourage me to engage with it more.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah,
it's a tricky
obviously
one.
I get it, because obviously like you're marketing it out to people who are not interested in it
might
as well.
Be the opposite
so,
audience that you want.
So yeah, but I don't know. There's something in that I find quite funny.
Yeah, and then over to TikTok, which always gets mentioned naturally in any social media podcast that we have. They've released a new marketing guide for small and medium businesses, specifically in CPGs, so consumer price goods. This includes platform usage stats, available ad tools, creative tips, ideas, inspiration, and how to map out your content strategy. They're always putting these sort of marketing playbooks and guides out there. It seems almost every month or every few months. So that's one for you guys to check out below on the show notes. Please click along to that and see more about that. But over to the main topic of today, Grace Beverly has launched Retrograde, an AI talent agency.
Dun, dun, dun.
Big one. So there's been lots of conversation on LinkedIn, Twitter, across all socials about this. Some positive, obviously some not so positive as well. So Retrograde is a personal AI talent agent that alerts users with a text message when a brand gets in touch to collaborate and responds on the creator's behalf effectively. So Alex, I know you've been checking this out. What are some of your initial thoughts when it comes to this?
Well, I think this has obviously come off the back of, I think it was Sheerlux came up with like an AI social media influencer ream, and they got a lot of hate for that. And then off the back of that, Grace has announced that this AI talent agent. So it's natural that she's getting a bit of hate for it. But yeah, I've seen my LinkedIn has just been full of talent agents, not particularly happy about this new business. They're saying how, again, it's the same as what we were talking about with the AI community management. It takes away that humanization and that interaction that you get with another person by having this bot. I personally don't know if I would trust my brand deals with using a bot. I don't know what they're going to sign me up for. I might not have full autonomy over something like that. But, Grace has been fighting the fact that this talent agent is more for people that don't have access to the level of support that she might do or other high profile influencers or celebrities might do to be able to help negotiate those deals. So in that sense, I think that's a real positive and something that I think a lot of people will probably jump on and take advantage of. Again, probably wouldn't want to be in the first lot of people using it because it's going to take time to learn, I suppose, what to say yes to and what to say no to. In the podcast released recently, they were talking about the fact that this bot would never turn down a brand deal. Now, that could be slightly taken out of context, but I don't know if that would then mean that any creators or influencers that are associated with this AI business are not going to be as trustworthy because the bot just says yes to everything. Again, that could be taken out of context, but it was said in the podcast. So yeah, I personally wouldn't trust it for the first few months until it's learned, using other people. Using other guinea pigs.
Yeah. Alex throwing everyone else under the bus.
Yeah, but not me. And also, I think there's a large percentage of consumers, Gen Z, millennials, Gen A as well, that buy products based on influencer recommendations. And people are now starting to do their due diligence with making sure that these influencers do actually advocate for that brand and they're not just chasing the next paycheck. And so if people have found out that they're associated with this AI talent agent that's saying yes to everything, and then they have to do the brand deal, they might not be as trusted. They might then not get further brand deals with other brands. There's a lot of grey area and issues I'd personally want to dodge.
Yeah. It'd be interesting because obviously all these AI tools have the aim to sort of automate a lot of the conversation that happens. But what happens if 80% are brand deals they don't want to do, and they're like, no, can't do that. And the brand's like, hang on a minute, you just told me that we're going ahead with this and this was your prize and everything like that. But it's interesting, like you said, well, I guess with the volume of creators today, and that's only going to continue increasing, not all of them do have access to a talent manager. And a friend of mine who's a PT in the fitness kind of world, he's got, he's blown up recently, gone over to 300k followers on Instagram and stuff like that. But he's only just starting having these conversations with talent managers. And it really does, he wasn't getting that at 50k, 100k, but now that he's built more of that size, and it's not easy to build that size of audience. Talent managers only sort of getting interested because they have to, I guess, protect their time and have a sort of a core focus of who they want to manage and promote, I guess, externally. What's your experience, I guess, with some of those things and talent managers? And
I think the hard thing for me, and Alex kind of touched on it earlier, is that whole people management. Like that's the core of talent management, and understanding people's creativity, understanding what you're marketing. And I just feel like it loses that human touch of it. And I do feel, and I 100% believe that it really does suck that some people who are really good creators, I know loads of good creators who just don't have the funds to get proper talent managers. So it does support them to be able to do that. I think my issue with it just means that the pool that you now pick from has quadrupled in size. And then you actually have more people to fight against. And there is a part of me that thinks it maybe stops people working as hard. To an extent, I feel like if you can just go and get a talent manager, then it stops you from giving that full effort. I do really, really believe that I wish that being represented was for everyone and more applicable and more accessible for everyone. But I do feel like there is that human touch that can't be replicated from an AI bot as any sort of representation for you. I don't think it will ever know you and be able to really sell you the way that a person can tell. I've worked with talent agents from both sides, whether from my acting days or now where I'm actually speaking to people, and you can actually have real conversations with them. I'll have emails, phone calls, talking about one talent, being how do they feel about this? Are they up for doing this? And really explaining the videos that you're getting them to do, and being I just don't think an AI bot is going to be able to do that anytime soon. So I wouldn't necessarily want to. It's
the empathy as well.
For sure.
But I think the other thing we were talking about just before we came on was the talent agents that you've worked with before. They have a pool of creators, but none of them are the same.
Yeah, that's a really big one. So most talent agents, because if you have 3 people who do the exact same thing that look the same on your books, then if you're putting them out for jobs and etc., then you've got 3 people fighting for one job, and if one surpasses the others, then it means you've got 2 people who are never going to get jobs. So it does mean that you can get everyone applying for the same job, but then it does mean that everyone is applying for the same job. So I don't know, for me, it just feels like your pool's just lessening.
But also, how is a bot going to be able to tell the difference between that creator and another creator?
Exactly.
So that you don't have people that are all the same, on one book. And you actually do have a variety of people. A bot might not be able to tell that yet.
But then also, even understanding, say you do get 2 people who are the same, and they go to a talent agent, and the talent agent looks at them and goes, oh, you both have this certain aesthetic, you have these skills. What about you makes you different? speaking to them in person, you can work that out and you can go, oh, okay, but this is how I would market you different. And this is the bot ever going to be able to get that nuance and really understand their like ticks and traits? You know, yeah, we might have similarities and stuff, but we might say them or express ourselves in different ways. And I don't know, team talent, real person.
Real people.
Team real people.
It seems more of like, at the moment, more of like a negotiation tool, doesn't it? I guess on behalf of that creator. But I was wondering to myself, like, at the moment, I guess it's just taking those inbound messages and then trying to negotiate for you. But will they add on to the tool, whether like an outbound thing? So obviously at the moment it's only taking those opportunities that come to you, but can it create opportunity for you by reaching out to brands or whatever that, you know, or other agencies that might influence agencies that might need that talent? Can it do that as well? Even like looking at contracts, could it create an AI written contract based on everything that's been agreed to within that and like signed through there? Saying almost like any prompts to create content, I guess, like, okay, this has been signed for you. You've got 2 weeks now to create this piece of content. Make sure like a prompt.
See, like, I don't know if it's because I'm a millennial, whatever, but like I need to like know that a person has written it, so then I can hand it over to Alex to double check it for me. But like, I don't know. I would never like, for me personally, I don't feel like it cuts out any time, because even if it did it, I'd still be like, now let me check it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I think as a creator as well, I think that there are a few brands that if they were to reach out to me and they said, oh, Alex, we want you to work on this piece of content, but this is our budget, and it was less than what I would usually charge. If it's a brand that I really want to work for, that's fine. I would go to their budget, but the bot might try and negotiate, and you might then lose working with the brand that you really want to work for. So again, it's that human element of it, or Grace, how do you train the bot to do that?
Also, like, can you, like, how much of an argument can you get into with this bot? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're like, hey, this is not what we agreed on, is the bot...
Don't argue with the robot.
You're already... Classic Scorpio, trying to pick a fight already. They haven't even done anything. But, like, how much, like, back and forth are you going to be able to have with it? And also, like, say you're person A dealing with the bot, the second that I start, actually thinking about that I'm dealing with the bot, I'm just going to stop caring.
And be rude.
And I'm the type of person that if I feel like I'm getting semi-automated responses, I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it. Like, I didn't get an internet provider one time because I was trying to get to them, and then I realized that, oh, this is automated response. I was like, I'm not going to go for this internet company. Oh my God, I'm so old. I hate you. That's what I mean. Like, I don't like dealing. Like, this is the thing as well. Does everyone like dealing with AI? And
it makes it more transactional, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think like a relationship. Don't like that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I find it really difficult when you do things like, like when you're trying to sort out your car insurance and you're talking to someone on a chat system, but you don't know if they're a real person or if they're AI. And it's a little bit odd. You know, it seems very transactional, but actually it turns out they are a real person. They're just having to do, I don't know. It's not very personal at the moment anyway, I find. So I don't think that would change much, having chatbots.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, both.
Welcome.
That wraps up today's episode. But thank you very much for listening. Like I said, please check out the show notes for the links to everything that we've discussed through, so you can see on your own time more about all the information across all those updates. And obviously, make sure to subscribe to Kite Talent.
Make sure to subscribe.
We need. Thanks very much, and see you next week.
Bye.